What's up, guys? Nate Wilson here from the Woodland Fitness Center, your new personal trainer. I recently went on a camping trip with my family and I was gone for about 4 days. And so when you go on a trip and you're out in the wilderness and you're a fitness addict like me, sometimes you got to get creative and figure out ways to still get your heart rate up and still get your pump on. So I came up with a couple different exercises that you can do while you're out in the wilderness or wherever with 2 different water jugs, okay? I'm going to show you about 5 compound movements, okay? And for those of you who don't know, compound movements are movements that involve more than one muscle group in one exercise. So I'm going to show you a couple of those, and I'm going to show you a couple of isolation exercises as well. And those are going to be more focusing on one central muscle group, okay? Okay guys, the first exercise I'm going to show you is called a one-handed thruster. Now keep in mind, these gallons of water weigh approximately 8.5 pounds, okay? So keep that in mind when you're doing these. If that's too much, then you can certainly pour the water out. And I just wanted to add that because these are full of water, it's going to make it more unbalanced, which will force you to use core muscles a little more and build your core up more, because you'll be in an unstable environment. So we're going to start off with the one-handed thruster, and of course if you have 2 water jugs you can do these with both hands, but just for the sake of those who only have 1 water jug, this is what it looks like. It's a mixture between a squat and an overhead press. So you start like this, your water jug right here, squat, overhead press. This is what a normal thruster is going to look like with both hands using 2 water jugs. Same position with the hands, okay? Get in a position where you can hold it. Leaking a little bit here. The main muscles worked in a thruster are the legs, the shoulders, and the core, okay? The second exercise I'm going to show you is called a goblet squat. That's pretty self-explanatory, but you're working with your water jug. You're going to hold it right here out in front of you. And they simply just do a squat. Nice and low. Want the hips below the knee joint and back up. The main muscles you're using during this exercise is obviously mostly your legs, but you're also using your core when you have your water jug out in front of you, and you're using your shoulders and arms a little bit to support the jug as well. The third exercise I'm going to show you is a little more challenging. It's called the overhead squat. This is tough because your arms are going to be overhead, and it's going to cause you to use more core and be a little more unbalanced. But here's what it looks like. Water jug overhead. As much as you can, you want your arms extended fully. And same thing, you're doing a squat. Nice and low, knees going in the same direction as the toes, just like this. The main muscles worked in that exercise are obviously the legs, a lot of shoulders too. Using the shoulders a little more in that exercise than your goblet squat. And you're also using your core, like I said earlier, because that's what's stabilizing everything. When you put your arms overhead like this, it puts you in a more compromised position and more unstable position as well. The fourth exercise I'm going to show you is the overhead lunge, very similar to the overhead squat. This is probably a little more challenging than the overhead squat, I would say, but a lot of the same muscles are being used. Overhead like this, we're stepping back, one leg going down in your normal lunge position. Keeping your arms extended as possible. It's going to help stabilize your shoulders while you're holding the jug overhead. Again, a lot of the same muscles being used. Legs, core, a lot of shoulders too. Okay guys, the 5th exercise I'm going to show you, you're going to have to get down on the ground and get a little dirty. We're doing the overhead sit-up. This is a very challenging exercise, but really builds the core up. So you're going to take your water jug, you're going to lean back, right as you lean back, you're going to put your jug directly overhead like this. And then you're simply doing a sit-up, while keeping the jug overhead and using your shoulder to stabilize it. If you're really looking for a challenge, you can use 2 water jugs on this. It's really going to build some abs on you. Here's what it looks like. So the main muscles getting worked in that exercise are the shoulders, obviously, because you have to hold the jugs overhead and stabilize them. And then, of course, your abs and your core. So those first 5 exercises were compound movements like I was describing before. Now we're going to move to movements that are a little more isolated, okay? And we're going to start with the bicep curls. Very basic, very easy, working mainly one muscle group. When you're standing, you're working a little bit of your core, a little bit of your legs, but for the most part it's isolated, so we're going to call it an isolation movement. Pretty self-explanatory here. You grab your water jugs, you simply do a curl. For some of you, 8 pounds might be enough. For others, it might be a little too easy. If you want to make it a little tougher on yourself, you can go slow with the movement, especially on the eccentric or bottom portion of the exercise. Going slower right here to make it more challenging. And those are your bicep curls. Alright, the second isolation exercise I'm going to teach you is called lateral raises. This works the shoulders and mainly the outer portion or the lateral head of the shoulder. Now, if you've done those other compound movements where you're doing the overhead movements, if you add this in at the end, this is really going to put a burn on your shoulders and build some muscle there. The exercise goes like this. Bring it out to your side like this. Just like that. When you do this, you want to keep your pinkies up. Almost like you're pouring water out of the water jug. And that's going to isolate that lateral head of the shoulder just a little bit more. Next we have tricep extensions behind the head. You're going to grab your water jug like this, swing it around without hitting yourself in the head. Go up with the water jug like this. It's important to keep your elbow in one spot. You don't want to be moving around a whole lot, otherwise you're going to start using your shoulders. So keep that elbow nice and high and in the same spot, and you're going to be isolating that tricep muscle right there, the back arm. Just like that. Last but not least, our last isolation exercise is going to be the bent over row. You're going to bend at the hips, get yourself in a bent over position, and just hold yourself there. This uses a lot of core muscles right here, and some might argue that this is a compound movement, which it is, but you're mainly isolating those back muscles, okay? So you're going to keep your water jugs like this, and simply pull right here, just like you're doing a normal row. Squeeze those shoulder blades together and engage those lats. Just like this. So those are 9 exercises you can do just with 2 water jugs. If you need more intensity, you can put all those exercises together and shorten your rest times in between and make it into a circuit workout or a high intensity interval training workout. For those of you who don't know what that is, that's basically really short rest times in between your exercises. If you do those exercises, all of them together, you're going to be hitting pretty much every muscle in your body, which is pretty good considering you're out in the wilderness and all you have is 2 water jugs. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you have any questions, feel free to text me at 719-640-0668 or email me at natewilson0223@gmail.com. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.